A Scuderia Ferrari is testing the new spray guards for the FIA. The first day of testing at the Fiorano circuit started on Thursday morning with Ferrari Juniors Arthur Leclerc and Oliver Bearman taking part in this special day of track activities. Charles Leclerc's brother hit the track behind the wheel of the SF-25 car equipped with spray guards, and the British driver in the SF-24 with the livery that raced last weekend in the Miami Grand Prix. The home track of the Prancing Horse was artificially wet, and the Ferrari driven by Arthur Leclerc, equipped with wheel fairings, positioned itself in front of the red car driven by Oliver Bearman in order to evaluate the degree of visibility achievable when rain requires the use of the Pirelli full-wet tire, the blue compound, with a very substantial water flow, creating visibility issues more than grip issues for the cars on the track. Last year at the Silverstone circuit, experiments were conducted with less invasive solutions on Formula One cars, as the FIA attempted to find a solution that would improve visibility for the following cars in rainy conditions, but these had yielded poor results and were therefore dismissed. Although no actual images of the test were shared, the FIA did offer some 3D renders of the solution, which consisted of partial wheel covers on both the front and the rear tires. The test was carried out by former Ferrari Driver Academy member Mick Schumacher, with McLaren's Oscar Piastri used as a control running behind. The conclusion from the first test was that the system made no significant difference to the levels of spray produced by the cars. As a result, the FIA promised a more aggressive solution, which Ferrari took to the track on Thursday at Fiorano. Racing car designer Nicolas Tombazis explained last year how complex it was to find a solution that would work successfully. He mentioned that they had started the project towards the end of the previous year and had conducted numerous computational fluid dynamics simulations. They quickly realized that it wasn't as simple as just putting something on and being done with it. They were concerned about not losing too much performance of the cars and disrupting the aerodynamics too much, although some level of disruption was inevitable. Additionally, he noted that the actual aerodynamic load on these large mudguards, or whatever you call them, would be quite high if they had a complete cover. Therefore, the support on the uprights would have to be fairly robust to withstand high speeds and prevent them from flying off at 300 kilometers per hour. At the Fiorano track, however, we see a very different and much more invasive concept. Both the front and rear wheels have been covered by a carbon fiber disc that entirely encloses the tire. From the front view, windows that had been opened were observed and throughout the day will be progressively dilated or closed to evaluate the tire's behavior, water displacement, and the spray's impact on the following driver. The feeling is that this is an extreme experiment that covers the tires completely, but observing these truly unsightly discs closely, you can also discern possible lateral doors that can be removed, indicating that the design is not final, but the system allows precise evaluation of the threshold at which visibility begins to be lost. We will see what the driver's feedback will be at the end of the testing day with the FIA, which will evaluate the pros and cons of the newly tested solution. The mudguard issue has been ongoing for some time, with drivers and teams showing divergent opinions about it. The work, therefore, managed in collaboration between the FIA, Ferrari, and Pirelli, involves a plan with several runs, and it is expected that at some point one of the two main drivers will take action. Carlos Sainz will evaluate the innovation since he has been the only one, compared to the two reserve drivers of the Prancing Horse, to have experience in heavy rain. Tomorrow, however, Ferrari will dedicate the entire day to the second filming day. In addition to making commercial shoots to satisfy the title sponsor, HP, the Italian side will be able to make a preliminary evaluation of the aerodynamic update package that will be mounted on the SF-24, which will return to being only red, in view of the debut at the Made in Italy and Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. In the 200-kilometer run allowed by the FIA, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz will divide the work to find the right correlation of data between the track and the information collected by the Maranello technicians from the wind tunnel and simulation tools. As we know, at Imola, the first major aerodynamic upgrade package for the 2024 Formula One season will be introduced by the Maranello team. We are talking about a significant upgrade that will modify several areas of the SF-24 single-seater. The floor has undergone significant reshaping, being a vital macro component for generating aerodynamic load through the Venturi channels. The changes underneath the floor will not be easily visible, as this area of the car significantly impacts the overall lap times. However, the changes to the floor body inlet and the side pod floor edge will be visible, and we will be able to thoroughly analyze them. There will also be a new side pod design. We specifically refer to the inlets located at the beginning of the side pod to cool the car's internal components, which are also subject to modification where the inverted tray in Red Bull style should be present. There is a general downsizing of shapes also on the lateral and upper part, which is necessary to better control the fluid structure that surrounds the aerodynamic shape of the red car. It remains to be seen what work has been done in the final area of the side pods, where much of the inwash effect of the SF-24 could give way to a more efficient outwash. In order to validate an update, it takes time, a lot of knowledge, and above all, the possibility to evaluate it on track and collect feedback. The novelties could be factual, but still not work perfectly on the first try. This is because in Formula One, knowing precisely how to make an update effective on paper doesn't always turn out to be as easy as it seems due to real-world interpretation. Moving from subjective judgment to objective judgment in practice, optimizing the performance of the single-seater. Ferrari has been working on this for a long time with extreme dedication. Haste has not been part of this scenario. Led by Italian aerodynamicist Enrico Cardile, the technical department of the Ferrari sporting management had the need to minimize the margin of error, if not even bring it down to zero. The International Federation grants some permissions to teams to take to the track outside of race weekends. In the case of Ferrari, we are talking about the filming day that will take place on Thursday and Friday at the Fiorano, a beauty of 200 kilometers, where the 2.0 version of the SF-24 car will take its first steps. A measure conceived behind the scenes, definitely useful in view of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix weekend. The drivers and the technicians of the Maranello team have some clear goals for the 2 days of track activities at the Fiorano circuit. While on one hand, they will test the effectiveness of the updates, on the other, they will have the opportunity to work on the setting for the next Formula One World Championship round, with the new features on board. All within the real context that will provide much more effective references compared to the virtual context alone, having an entire week available in order to compare and study the optimal setup of the updated SF-24 single-seater with some very important data in hand. A significant benefit that should allow the Maranello team to arrive at the Italian circuit with a much better preparation in view of a key moment for Ferrari. After the step forward taken by McLaren with its own update package at the Miami International Autodrome in Florida last weekend, the Italian side needs to respond and prove it can take the fight to McLaren and Red Bull in the next rounds of the 2024 Formula One campaign, starting with the race which will take place in front of tens of thousands of passionate tifosi.